Hello, hello. Welcome again to the Bibbs Corner podcast. This is episode 41. I am your host, as always, of course, Mike Bibbins at Bibbs Corner for all things sports. And this is part two of my two-part NBA final special. This time, a conversation with a Lakers fan. And for this one, I reached out to Justin at Young Stilios or Young Estilos on Twitter. And I'll plug his handle when we get to the actual conversation, actually. But a guy who I know is a Lakers fan who always has good reactions, and he's actually from LA. So, again, I want to go for the authenticity. I'm not reaching out to some random person that claims the team. I want to go with somebody that's been claiming this since the womb, pretty much. So we had a good conversation. I was aware of the delay issue, so it's not. You're only going to notice it a couple times in this conversation. I think I delayed most of my reactions by a few seconds to avoid answering something before he said it this time around. But we had a good conversation. We talked about, of course, his roots and coming up on the Lakers. We talked about the 2011 finals. We talked about Kobe for a while. That got pretty heavy. And then we talked about this current team for a good bit, and finally got to what I'm going to call a bold. I'm not. I guess I don't know if you'll call it bold or not, but we got into a bold prediction about this series. So he's feeling pretty confident. I'm gonna tease that. So definitely enjoyed the conversation, and of course, as always, he's gonna plug his stuff. He has some good YouTube content that you might want to check out at the end. So be on the lookout for that plug, and I'll catch you guys on the other side of the ad. Welcome to yet another edition of the Bibbs Corner podcast. I'm your host, as always, Mike Bibbins at Bibbs Corner for all things sports. And this is a double dip, second episode of the day. And for this one, I got a Laker fan, a guy who I've known for a pretty long time, Justin, aka at Young Estilos, and that's YUNGESTILOS on Twitter. How you doing, Justin?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Definitely trying to share the love. I had a Heat fan on just a minute ago, so now I'm bringing you in as the Lakers representative. And I've known you for a while through Twitter, going back to, I believe you and the crew were in high school when I first ran across y'all in the Star Chaser days. So it's been a while.
That's a minute. I didn't know it's been
It
that
really
long.
has. I think you weren't one of the first ones that I kind of linked with, but I mean, you guys all just kind of came together as a package, as far as I was concerned.
Okay.
But getting straight into the topic at hand, tell us about your Laker fanhood, your earliest memories, and your greatest memories as a Laker fan.
Oh man, I've been a Lakers fan for as long as I can remember. I'm from LA and whatnot, so it's kind of just been around. It's introduced to me by, my pops and all that. And my earliest memories was really, I think, that Indiana Pacers series, the first three-peat. Yeah, so I mean, the only three-peat, the first championship of the three-peat. And I remember that, and I remember seeing Kobe. I remember seeing, Shaq and all that, and I just fell in love with the culture and everything. And we had gotten so accustomed to winning, through the duration of my childhood, what I'm saying? Like around there, I was, like 9, 10. So we kind of got spoiled. And, from there, we kind of just stuck with it through the dark moments, all the dark moments, we stuck with it. And even when I'll tell you a funny story, like before that core had got split up when Shaq had got traded and
Right.
whatnot, and it was that finals with the Pistons.
Yep.
My mom had bought all types of memorabilia, had bought cups and towels and banners and all that. We was lit, boy. We was so lit. And dude, when we lost, bro, I cried, bro. No cap. I flat out cried, man. I cried, and I remember that moment. I remember, you know, the Derek Fisher shot.
Mm.
I remember when Tim Duncan had hit the little midi pack.
Yes,
He hit
yes.
the midi pack. You feel me? So when he hit the midi pack, I went in my mama room and I started, I started, I started screaming into the sheets. You feel me? I thought it was over with. So when Fish had got the John and he threw that John up, and that boy ran out he ran out the whole stadium. He didn't stop at all. You feel me? He was lit. Went outside, ran. You know what I mean? Saying, you know what I'm saying, rode a bicycle a couple times
Turn
around the
into
block.
Forrest Gump.
Yeah, he ran. He straight cleared that John. So I did the same. I ran out the crib. You feel me? So yeah, bro. So it's dated. It's dated pretty far back, man. Pretty much, man.
Awesome, awesome.
You know.
And Mike. I was talking to Mike a minute ago. He talked about the Heat from the late '90s with Tim Hardaway and Alonzo and stuff like that. It's fun to hear people talk about their teams from the early days. And I remember Sean Bradley on the Mavericks and stuff like that. Like those memories, like when you can dig deep. Because obviously I'm not a Laker fan, so I'm not thinking about. Like I remember the Derek Fisher shot, but I didn't live it like that because I wanted them to lose. So,
I feel you.
but that's dope. That's definitely dope. Let's bring it to a dark memory. You talked about how y'all had that nice run through the 2000s up to 2010, and then it all came to a dramatic end in 2011 with that sweep. What are your memories of that 2011 series versus the Mavericks?
I remember there being some dysfunction going into the series. I remember there was some stories, divulging, I'm saying, circling around Pau Gasol and whatnot, and the dynamic. And he was really, he was a cornerstone. He was very imperative to that offense,
Right.
and just that system overall. So I felt his mentality was out of it. I felt that like Kobe had a little knee problems. He wasn't getting to his spots as easily.
Okay.
As what I'm saying, and the lift on his jumper. I remember it was in question. I feel like he was battling. I don't know if he was battling and also a finger injury on that, but I just remember us being out of it, and we didn't necessarily have the lift and the mental fortitude to get past that. That Dallas team. Because that Dallas team in 2011, they seemed focused. After they ran through us, they ran through pretty much everybody in the West.
Yeah.
So. I do remember that. So let's not get to the point where it's like y'all got smacked. No, a lot of people got smacked too. Let's keep it a bean. Let's keep it a whole bean, bro. So I remember that. Yeah, bro. I remember 2011 and all that. I remember that. And it was very heartbreaking because I felt like we had another opportunity to make history. And that was the narrative going in, that we was going to make history, and that was going to be a great moment for us.
Right.
And that it was snatched from us. So
yeah, and
yeah,
so
man.
For me, obviously, I think that was when I really started to believe we could do it. I didn't really fear the Blazers. I feared the Blazers, but I didn't fear the Blazers. Like they were young. Like Brandon Roy was crazy back then, but they hadn't won anything. They weren't like this. It wasn't like they were the Spurs or the Lakers or one of those teams. So I felt good about that one. But then facing the two-time champion Lakers with Kobe and Powell, and just destroying them, basically, like that was special. And it kind of sucks to me that was the only matchup between Dirk and Kobe in the playoffs ever. Well, when it was when they were both
crazy.
contending, I should say. It would have been nice to have a couple more matchups in that history. But do you recall, or what were your thoughts when Bynum tried to kill JJ Barea? Do you even remember that?
It was already over. It was already over. At that point, you talking about when he stuck that elbow out?
Yeah.
Was that on the
Like
Okay,
Barea went up
okay.
for the layup,
It
and
was
Bynum
JJ
just
was
stuck his forearm in his
exactly,
chest.
and he got ejected and all that,
Yeah,
right?
took his jersey off, walked out, all that.
Memory. It was over. Um, he had already checked out. We had checked out. I remember that. Going into that, just overall, um, we lost a lot of our core. I felt like a lot of our younger core, we left. We didn't resign them. They left for whatever reason. We lowballed Trevor Ariza, like our dogs. We lost our dogs. You feel me?
Yeah.
And that's very important, especially when you have, the second option is, how they saw certain softer players in the league, that people that would take a shot at them and whatnot. You're missing certain players to be enforcers to protect.
I
So
definitely feel that right
we
now.
we even though you understand, with Luka and whatnot, and Morris going at Luka and whatnot. What I'm saying. So it's a similar situation with that, and they just think that European players are punks when they're not. You know what I'm saying? They're not going for that. You feel me?
Right.
So, I do remember at that point it being over, and it crystallized for me at that point.
No, definitely.
You know what I'm
He was
saying?
ready to go, and that pretty much ended his career for the most part. That was
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So going back to that time, and then the years after, you already referenced it as kind of the dark ages, but Kobe was there that whole time, and obviously we took a huge blow just as a culture losing Kobe this year. Tell me a little bit about what Kobe kind of meant to you, at growing up as a Laker fan, and how that loss kind of hit you.
Bro, Kobe was my childhood, bro. Kobe was a mentor, and Kobe was just the embodiment of just the young successful guy that grew up before our eyes. And he came from that era where, that all that era and all that, you know what I'm saying, that era of stars,
Right.
so they were role models to us and whatnot. And when he won, we won, just like that, simple as that. And I'm gonna be honest with you, when he had transitioned, I felt a piece of me died. I felt a piece of my childhood closed, and a lot of the things started to come into fruition that, you know it got very morbid. I'm not going to get too dark, but the loss was,
You felt it.
strongly felt. I felt it. It was very dark. I wasn't directly in LA when it happened. I was in LA when Nip had passed,
Mm,
but I wasn't in LA. I was in Temecula when Kobe passed, but um, I know that still it sent waves throughout California. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So, um, yeah, it was a strong loss. I was in silence, and I was very emotionally distraught, and I just felt like, it didn't make sense. It felt like we were in the Matrix. It felt like we were in a darker timeline, and people like that are not supposed to
Right.
pass. Just felt like we lost pillars, and we lost somebody that withheld a lot of information about the
Mm,
game and was willing to pass that on to younger
right.
generations. And we don't have a lot of people that, how they say that one goes, another one comes, and well, there's never going to be another Kobe. And if there is another Kobe with that type of brain, they're not as willing to share the information,
Right.
you know? So it was a loss. It was simple as that, you know what I'm saying?
No.
So
Yeah.
it was bad, man. I'm not
It's
gonna lie.
crazy because I never really was a Kobe fan. You could even call me a Kobe hater at one point. I think over the years it became more of a respectful hate type of thing.
Hmm.
Early days, I was all Iverson, so it was either Iverson or Kobe. So I had to be anti Kobe. But like I said, over the years, I gained that respect for him. I'm glad I did before the end. But even then, when I saw that notification, I think I was shopping. I had stopped to get something to eat, and I was like in the line. I was about to order when I looked at my phone and saw the notification, and I just froze for a second. Like I forgot where I was. Like I was like, this can't be real. And so then you check
Mm.
multiple sources, and everybody's saying, and it was like, yo, what? Like this like you said, this isn't supposed to be possible. Like this isn't what's supposed to happen. And then it was just the next few hours just trying to hope that maybe they were wrong. And like even to this day, if I see a picture of him, it doesn't feel real at all.
Yeah.
And I'm like I said, I wasn't a huge Kobe fan. I actually had to call out of work the next day. I couldn't go to work the next day,
Mm.
and it is tough. Like you said, I like what you said about one of those people that has the knowledge and not being able to pass that along. And obviously we have a lot of legends that are still out here, but like you said, no, a lot of Kobe was taking the time to share his knowledge with other players, and not hold on to that. And the fact that I'm glad that he got to do that before he left. Even if he probably would have done it for generations to come. But I'm glad that we even got any of that. And you look at Jamal Murray and Jason Tatum, and you can still see pieces of Kobe out there, and I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, especially with with Kyrie and whatnot as well.
Right.
Um, it was just, yeah, man. It was just, I think that he was beginning the mission to be able to, add a different layer to, because there's a lot of things that younger players coming into the league, I feel like that transition from college or wherever they come from, a lot of talented players struggle once they get to the
Right.
league, and a lot of players, um, I feel like it's a lot of pressure on players. I feel like it's a lot of pressure to get it right
Most
immediately,
definitely.
and it doesn't help that the media is not as, they got to do what they got to
I
do
was
for
gonna say
clicks.
that
They got to do what
they're
they got
not
to do to
holding back.
clicks. They're not at all, and it's like, that's what I like. Just bringing, because it's only right that you had mentioned Iverson. It's only right because I saw Iverson on all the smoke, and he had said that, this is why I couldn't be an analyst, because he takes a position where I was once a player, so I'm always going to side with the
Mm,
player. Like, I'm always going to be, I'm just respecting you for you getting to this
right.
level. You know what I'm saying? And there's not too many of those people that the younger players are going to want to listen to and go to that for that information. And it's just that we see that they're making millions of dollars, and it's like, what do you know what I'm saying? Just go out there and get the job done. But it's not like that. It's not. We're not. That's why Kyrie's acting the way he's acting,
Yeah.
because it's like, yo, my calling is bigger than basketball. I'm not a robot. I'm Kyrie Irving. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I go home, and I have real life problems and stuff like that. So it's like, I feel like when like you have somebody like Kobe, and so I'm saying is that mentorship is just more than, I'm pretty sure that he talked to him more about basketball, the text that he was having back and forth with people, and the, you know what I'm saying, like that. It's just like everything that encompassed. If you look at the full
Right.
picture and everything that got lost in that, it's not only Kobe, it's what his daughter Gigi was gonna mean to
Man.
WNBA, and what Kobe meant to
Mm,
WNBA, and just like bringing that on a scale to where, I'm not gonna say it's not respectable, but giving it,
putting in the spotlight.
the recognition. Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? It's like, up until this point, it's like the average with the WNBA player, you're making what, 40,000. You're making teacher salary. Like, you're grossly underpaid. You should be getting paid more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You should be. You know what I'm saying? And I just hope that that is the vehicle for change, and people will step up. But yeah, man, that's definitely how I
Yeah.
felt. You know.
And I think going back to what you just said about the WNBA, I think a lot of people get that conversation mixed up when people say that they should be paid more. Nobody's saying they should be paid the same thing the NBA players make, but I have to pull up the statistics to get the numbers right. But they're not making the same percentage of revenue the NBA players are making, even at this point. Like
Mm,
they have to get that percentage up. I think as far as success for the league, if you look at the NBA in its first 20-25 years, I believe the WNBA is actually on a better track, success wise.
mm,
So it's just like you said, it's a matter of being able to shine that spotlight and having the NBA players kind of step up, and Kobe was doing a lot of that legwork. And I'm glad to see a lot of NBA players are starting to really step up more to that mantle as well. And I do have to ask, this kind of, we kind of touched on it already. Do you think that's going to kind of be Kobe's legacy, is just that paying it forward to the game?
I think that okay, so that's a very interesting question because in every era, the way that the generations work, there's certain players from the '60s that my generation is never like, yo, I don't remember what he did. I was born in the '90s. There's gonna be generations far from now, like I don't remember like you see it now. You see it now
Right.
with Jordan. Like I didn't know Jordan won 2 3 peats. You know what I'm saying? So I think if it's gonna be something attached to it, it's gonna be okay. Well, how did this individual make you
Mm.
feel? You understand? Not necessarily the entertainment factor or how many buzzer beaters or the accolades or maybe the 81 point performance may not translate or the MVP translate in 50 years unless you go back and do the research. But I feel like when his name rings, it's like, oh yeah, he progressed. He did that one thing, right? I think that's gonna be, not necessarily I don't think that's gonna necessarily overshadow
Okay.
him, but I think it's gonna elongate his impact.
Kind of like
You know what I'm
Bill
saying?
Russell and his activism and stuff like that.
Exactly, exactly. You may not understand that like he had a 20 point and 30 rebound game in 1943 or whatever whatever run he had. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna necessarily yo yo in the 1945 playoffs. Did you know that like no, bro? Come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's gonna be one of those things, and I don't think that's gonna be a bad thing. I think it's gonna be you know a humanity
Right.
thing.
And I think
So
that's, you make a good point there as well. That it has to be bigger than just the basketball, because like you even look at what LeBron's doing now, like that's only gonna add to his legacy. I think you'll remember the
mhm.
accolades, you'll remember 10 straight finals. Like those are easy trivia questions to rattle off. But when you look at what he's doing now outside the game, that's the story of LeBron James. And I think, like you said, that's going to be part of Kobe's story as well. Um, and that's kind of a tough thing to transition away from, but I do have to transition away. Um, Going forward right now to this current Lakers team, first of all, I have to ask, because I feel like there was a mixed reaction. What were your initial thoughts when LeBron said he was coming to LA?
I knew the dynamic was gonna change, and I'm a big Lonzo fan. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm a big Lonzo fan, and I kind of like where that core was going, and I understood that playing with LeBron, the roles change for good
Right.
reasons. They defer to LeBron. They don't become it's a system game, and you got to think about it because as a fan, I was like, I'm not sure. But as a person, it's like if you were bringing if I were to raise my hand, right? If we had access to interview the GM, right? We had access to interview the basketball of operations. We had the front office, right? The whole entire front office, the whole board is
Right.
in front of you, right? And they ask you, right? So you're telling me you wouldn't sign LeBron James? I'd be a fool. I'd be a fool to say no. I don't want him. Are you? That's how I feel about AD too. It's like I had my concerns, but I'd be a fool to say, oh, so you're not gonna give up everything for AD. I'm like, all right, bro. I don't like it, but yeah, bro, sign it, bro, sign it, sign it. That's how I felt, bro. That's how I felt.
Okay, I can respect that, because back even in 2011 with LeBron and the decision, a lot of Mavs fans were like, "Get LeBron, get LeBron, get LeBron," and I didn't want him. But there was only so many times I was gonna say I don't want him. Like if he said I'm coming to Dallas,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna cry too much. Like I might
Right,
initially be
right.
like, "Ah, crap, we're gonna get a bunch of bandwagon Mavs fans," but it's gonna be hard for me to look out on the court and see LeBron dominating in a Mavericks jersey and not tune in. Like I might be a little.
You feel
It
me?
kind of
Yeah.
happened with Luca. To be honest, I wasn't sure I wanted Luca.
Mm.
because I had in my head I had already mapped out the next 5 years. Pair Dennis Smith with a rolling big man, and in 5 years we'll be able to compete. Luka came in, and it was like, well, I know Dennis Smith isn't going to last.
Yeah, we knew that immediately
because they both need the ball, and so it looked, in hindsight, it was stupid of me to even have that thought. But I'm such a preparer that changing my plans always hurts. It's always gonna hurt me. Even if Luka did completely change the timeline, and you never could have told me it would have happened this quickly. Still, in hindsight, I am apologetic that I even felt any type of hesitation about bringing Luka in.
I understand that. I do get that about AD and about just certain role players, certain decisions that we've made signing wise, even the rotations.
Yeah.
Why is Caruso getting more? Like, why isn't Deion Waiters playing more? Why isn't JR playing more? Why do we keep Kuz? And for all intents and purposes, this is a Kyle Kuzma slander account. So whoever is listening to come for the foreseeable future, I am a Kyle Kuzma slander account. I just wish we had kept Brandon Ingram instead of Kuz.
I really still don't get that to this day.
I don't. And I felt like the GM at first wanted Kuz. I thought I heard a report
that's
and then
literally
we could have kept Brandon.
I remember specifically them saying they didn't want to give up Kuzma, and I was like, what?
That's wild. And it just makes everything that LeVar gets a lot of backlash. But he came on one of them talks and said, I don't know, it looks like Lonzo was spoon feeding a boy. And now when you see, Kuz is a liability on defense, and when you see that, it's not, if you want to be a spot up shooter, if you want to roll to your spots, you want to be a corner guy, you want to be a spot up guy, you want to be, essentially a Kyle Korver in the offense. Do you want to do that? My bad. Sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say a guy that basically, like, you're in your spot. You don't have to make any actual decisions. You don't have to put the ball on the floor. You know that when you get the ball, you're expected to shoot it.
Exactly. You don't have to be a shot creator. You don't have to be an ISO player if that's what you want to be. But don't advertise you're going to be a third option. Don't advertise you're going to be Mamba mentality. And I see you all off season in Puma slides with your IG girlfriend. That's not flying with me. You know what I'm saying? It's not going. I'm not going for it. So I will continue to slander, you know what I'm saying, the advertisement, the propaganda, until he comes out and says, listen, I just want to be a system player. I swear I put this on everything. When he comes out and says that, it'll be no more Kuzma rants. Zero. You're not hear a thing. Because going forward, I don't know if one of your questions is, where do I see the Lakers going from this point? If you are, I'll say this. I just want to check with you to see if that wasn't on your
go
docket.
ahead. I'm talking you're rating where I'm kind of headed. So go ahead.
Okay. So if this is going forward, if we're talking about a contingency plan, because hey, that Warrior season was a fluke. They coming back with a top 5 draft pick and everybody's healthy. That's a problem. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's a huge problem. So, and we're talking about everybody that's, when Dallas is coming, Portland, what I'm saying, they're going to be here for the foreseeable future.
Right.
Dame is making that very known that he's not running from the grind. He's made that very known. The Clippers are crumbling before our eyes, though.
That's going to be interesting to see what happens. Besides, they just got rid of Doc, so that's the first domino. Do they make another big move? What happens with Montrez? Like, it's going to be an interesting offseason.
It is, but what can you really do when you done gave up so many assets? Like, it's pretty much checkmate for you can start playing around with cap space. I heard people flirting with the idea of playing with Lou's contract. Listen. I know maybe Lou had a couple of games where he shot low. Don't be silly. Hey, don't be silly now. That's your assassin coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Don't be silly. So the West is getting stronger, and going forward, LeBron is with 35. I feel like it's hard to time how much time he has left because he's in such great shape. But he's in great shape, I feel like, because he understands the game. I feel like he understands winning. At one point in that Jordan documentary where he had said that it was the fact that Jordan understood winning at some point, and that like all his opponents, when you start mentioning Clyde Drexler and all that, with people that they thought was neck and neck with Jordan, it's just that he understood winning.
Yeah.
I feel like LeBron understands winning, and he that allows you, for him to take a play off on defense, or be a little lackadaisical on help defense and wait around for the chase down block. But who is there to pick up the pieces? Who is there? And if we're banking on Kuz to be a third option going forward the next 5 years, nobody's expecting LeBron to play in his 40s.
Right.
We have AD at he's 26. I'm a little concerned about,
and his contract's up.
His mentality. Year, right? I think so. I heard about that. And if he's going to sign an extension, is that going to tie up all our cap space? Or we're going to have, there's a lot of questions. Yeah. We have a lot of veterans who, we have, if you think about all the people that are pushing us for this playoff run and the championship run, we have Rondo, we have Dwight, we have JaVale. A lot of these players are 10-year plus veterans, man. 9 to 10, you know what I'm saying? We don't have that promising core that it's like he's the next guy. He's gonna right. So it's very concerning.
And I think LeBron knows and is playing like he knows that. Like, the window is small. Mm-hmm. Like, we're here, we better get this done now. Because next year is not going to be easier. And, no year going forward is going to be easier for LeBron. Like, it's always going to be harder going forward for him. And he looks great right now, but that fall off, I'm telling you, just watching Dirk, it happens very quickly. Mm-hmm. And LeBron to be doing what he's doing in these playoffs is amazing. We watched him in the regular season kind of pace himself more. He's had to do a lot more than I expected him to do in these playoffs. And that all goes down back to what you said about the supporting cast. It's like it's him and AD. KCP's been the third best player right now.
You think? I saw a tweet that said that. And I said, you're out of your mind. You think KCP's been a better contribution to Rondo?
Well, you know what? KCP's been the most consistent scorer besides those two. As far as putting points on the board.
I understand that because his 3-point shooting is a little bit more reliable.
He's the only person that's been shooting anything consistent.
I agree. Okay, from that. But you know what I'm saying? I think it comes down to what you evaluate. Because I think he had I don't know what game it was.
I have to I'm also blocking Rondo out of my mind based on his tenure with the Dallas Mavericks. I can't give him any props on anything.
He fried y'all. No cap. He fried y'all. He fried y'all. Yeah. He fried y'all. I remember that.
He could literally save the planet tomorrow, and I'm not going to be able to acknowledge it.
That was sick. I almost forgot about that, man.
Yeah. That no Mavs fan is trying to hear that name.
Yeah, I understand that, man. That's terrible. I get
putting
it.
that aside.
I understand.
Putting that aside, he was huge for y'all in this last series.
For sure, man. And if we had Avery Bradley, another 3-and-D guy, it wouldn't have gone that far, man. And even though Jamal Murray had an amazing series, that pressure that Avery Bradley would have put on that young man, you know what I'm saying? And if you just muscle, because they kind of figured out Jokic down in the paint, where they made him a little more uncomfortable than what he's used
Right.
to. Like Dwight made it very, very uncomfortable for him. And I just think that aggressiveness Denver wasn't ready for. So if we had added another piece to that equation, it would have messed around and been a
I
sweep, you
definitely
know?
felt some young Maverick vibes from that Nuggets team in that series. Like before Dirk and them figured it out, where, like you said, Dwight got into Jokic's head and took him out of the
Yeah.
game for a little while. And that was enough in a couple of those
Yeah, yeah.
games.
For sure. For sure. I know they're gonna turn the corner at some point. I like my young boy Michael Porter Jr. That's my young boy. Um he was frying Kuz. Every time they got a matchup, oh, he was guppy. It was Shark Week. Every time, man. It was I said over and over in my head, get Kuz off that man for something bad happened to him. And something bad happened to him, man. So, they're gonna be exciting for some time to come.
And I'm just gonna put this out there real quick before I go to this next thing. Kuzma and Tyler Hero are kind of in my opinion, similar boats where they had a great summer league, got a whole bunch of hype behind them, and like even right now, Hero's doing it in the playoffs, fantastic. Kuzma was doing it with Lonzo, but when they get to that when they're asked to take that next step, it's not there. Like Kuzma, we're seeing it already. It's not there. He is what he is. I don't know. Like you said, he's not grinding in the off season to add something to his game. I just don't see it in him. He is, like I said, he is what he is. He's a role player. He needs to accept that. He needs to study Robert Ory or something, or Rick
Yeah.
Fox or something. Like, know your role, do what
Yeah.
you do. Stop trying to pretend that you're something else just because the media hyped you up a couple years ago.
I agree with that. And that's a great comparison because of I'm gonna tell you why it's a great comparison. Especially what you just said in terms of the media gassing them up and hyping them up. They're in two very attractive
Yeah.
cities. And they're from a younger generation. Not to say there aren't dogs in that younger generation, but they're very consumed with an image. Kuz, I got that Puma deal. After he got that Puma deal, I was like, bro, he had that attitude like he made it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
No,
I
he
could be
did.
wrong. Okay. He was on a couple billboards in LA. I seen him. He was there with the Puma sneakers. I didn't forget. And then you start dating the IG, they're both into that. They're both really into that. But the difference is what I've seen from Tyler at this point, he's got a bigger bag.
Yeah.
He's got a bigger bag to
Right.
work with. Especially as it pertains to a lot of ISO moments, a lot of things, a lot of movement from Tyler, a lot of off the dribble, a lot of attacking the rim. He's really proven himself as if he continues, he's going to be a serious 3-level scorer.
Right. I see him as like a Lou Will, Jason Terry type.
And that's great. That's you can get a lot of money in this league doing
for a long
as
time.
We've seen. You have a very long career, and especially us being in a shooters league, in a pick and roll league. Him coming off that pick and roll, being able to shoot, most importantly, shoot. You're 6'5". You should be getting money in this league for a very long time.
No, definitely.
So. And Kyle Kuz isn't necessary. I don't see that eye in him. I don't see in the flow of the offense. I don't see him analyzing. Sometimes you can see when as soon as it's like that 3-second, them catching the ball. You know what I'm saying? Them analyzing the offense, analyzing what the defense is giving them. I don't see that when Kuz.
Right. He's a reactionary player. He's not assessing. Yes. He's not 2 steps ahead. He's not one of those guys.
And that may be due to the fact that he's playing with LeBron now, and he feels he has to defer to a certain role. I don't know.
That happens with
You
LeBron. That
know,
happens with
it's a
LeBron.
lot of question marks. It does. And that's what I was concerned about him coming to LA. That, if you think about, what Bosch had to reduce to, we think about Kevin Love had to reduce
Right.
to. And Kevin Love was a dog. Kevin Love,
Yeah.
2020
He
back,
kind of,
you know?
when you look at Love and Bosch, their careers, like their legacies are kind of tarnished by their time with LeBron. Like people
They're
forget what they
definitely
were doing
overshadowed.
before
Yeah.
LeBron. Yeah, people forget what they were doing before they played with LeBron.
It was doing major things, man.
Yeah.
They was doing
So
major things.
so moving off of that Lakers cast, I have to ask this question because I was not feeling it on the timeline. A whole lot of Lakers fans crying about the drought and how they've suffered and this, that, and the third. And so it sounded like you were kind of leaning into that at the beginning of this pod. So you're one of those people that feels like y'all suffered, and I guess I kind of get it from your perspective because, like you said, when you were a kid, when you got into the team, was like right at the height of the first three-peat, the beginning of the first three-peat. So you got one three-peat, came back and got a couple more, and now it's been 9 years since y'all been in the finals. So
Yeah, 9.
that's like half your fanhood almost. So I guess I could kind of respect that, but I have to ask you, do you realize how many teams have had longer droughts versus how many have been to the finals since then?
Yeah. No, if you put in that perspective, Lakers fans are spoiled. We are very spoiled. And if you put in the perspective that people that have never sniffed a
I
finals,
can go down the
you
list if you
know,
like.
like the New York Knicks, bro, they haven't sniffed since,
99.
Woodstock 71.
No,
Or was it
99
99? Was it
21
okay?
years. I got the list. I can go down the list right now. So obviously,
If you want to, for content, if you want to
I'm
do
gonna
that.
do it right now. So last year, obviously
Okay,
the
okay, I'm gonna give you
Warriors.
the floor.
Last year, the Warriors and the Raptors. Of course, the Warriors had the drought before they got Steph. The Raptors had never been until last year. The Cavs obviously struggled for years until LeBron. The Spurs actually haven't seen the finals in 6 years now, so their fans have kind of been spoiled too. The Heat, obviously, this is their first time back in 6 years. The Thunder haven't been back since 2012. The Mavs obviously haven't been back since 2011. So those are the teams that have been to the finals since the Lakers prior time. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams that have seen the finals out of 30 since the Lakers. So then that means every 22 teams have had longer droughts out of the 30. The Celtics haven't been back since 2010. The Magic since 2009. The Pistons since 2005. Ben Wallace. The Nets since 2003. J. Kidd, Vince Carter, Kenyon Martin. 76ers since 2001 with AI. Stole the one game, stepped over Ty Lue. The Pacers since 2000. Reggie Miller. The Knicks, like I said, since 99. The Bulls and the Jazz haven't been back since Karl Malone got put down by Michael Jordan the second time. The Rockets haven't been back since Jordan went to play baseball in 95. The Suns haven't been back since Charles Barkley got put down by Michael Jordan in 93. The Blazers haven't been back since Michael Jordan put down Clyde Drexler in 92. A lot of Michael Jordan ended a lot of people.
Yeah, he did.
The Wizards haven't been back since they were the Bullets in what year was that? 79.
Jesus
The
Christ.
Bucks haven't been back since 74. The Hawks haven't been back since what's 59 years ago.
We talking about racial integration now.
I mean, we couldn't drink out of the
This is
same
getting
water fountains.
wild.
Like that was the Hawks. And then
Facts.
the longest drought of them all is the Kings. And I think they were the Royals back then. 69 years. 69.
These are staggering
Yeah.
numbers.
Martin Luther King was barely active at that point.
Oh my God.
And then we haven't even touched the teams that have never gone to the finals. The Hornets, the Nuggets, the Clippers, the Grizzlies, the Wolves, and the Pelicans. Never been to the finals. So I'm sorry, I can't feel it. I can't listen to Lakers fans crying about the dog days when you still had Kobe for a lot of those years. You still had young talent like D'Angelo and Brandon Ingram and Lonzo. Like y'all had something to watch. Like y'all didn't have terrible experiences like a lot of these teams had, like the Nets did when they won like 2 games that one year and stuff like that. So it's hard for me to feel sorry for a Lakers fan.
You know, as a general basketball fan, I hear these numbers and I say I understand. As a Lakers fan, I hear that same thing, and I say,
check
so that's us. That's y'all fault.
check
That's
your
y'all
feelings.
fault. Y'all didn't draft right. You didn't make trades right. We all had the same. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you need to change your personnel. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man,
You know, hey, we selected we figured out Kobe was the 13th pick. You know what I'm saying? You had what about the 13 other teams that had an
there's
opportunity for that?
controversy there too because he should have been a Hornet.
Listen, Vlade Divac. You understand me? You know, y'all want it. That's what you wanted.
Oh man.
You know?
All right. I'm gonna let you breathe. I understand.
For sure.
So
for
moving
sure.
forward, last thing we got to hit. How you feeling about these finals? What's your expectations?
This is over in 5. 5, maybe 6. 6 at the max. Listen, let me tell you something. They have no answer for AD. So if AD it comes out, I don't like it when AD relaxes. I don't like it when he's docile. I like it, you know, I like it when he's
Right.
aggressive. You know, when he and at least when he's aggressive, I can count on him to being pretty reliable.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So with that being said, with LeBron taking so much attention already, being LeBron, and we have say he gets double, we have Rondo to control the tempo. We're just big. We're a big team, man.
Right.
We're a big team. You know, Dwight runs the floor, so when Dwight's gonna neutralize Bam almost because a lot of teams have the most success on offense when they take Bam out the picture. So when you remove Bam from the paint, okay, Dwight is aggressive enough to neutralize Bam. So you got AD to worry about, you got Braun to worry about. All you need is a couple knockdown shots from the supporting cast. All you need is KCP to get a couple, you know what I'm saying? Caruso to get a couple joints. You know, that's all you really need. Kuz can hit 1 or 2 threes and be a hero. You feel me? We'll forget all about it. Just hit 2 reliable threes. You ain't got to do too much. So, you know, going into this, I don't know how many games of that Denver series. I think Braun had like 3 triple doubles in that series, 2 or 3 triple doubles. And AD is very aggressive. I think AD is going to apply. AD, I'm sorry. I think Rondo is going to apply a lot of pressure to the ball handler. You know, I don't think Goran Dragic is ready for whoever's picking the ball up, taking the ball up. You know, it's like very, very aggressive. And, you know, you got Tyler Hero and whatnot and everything like that. It comes down to adjustments. I give him 1 game because I think that Spoelstra, Eric Spoelstra, is a better coach than Frank Vogel. Honestly, believe that. So they'll get
I think I feel a lot of the things that you feel about this series. I worry about the lack of depth for the Heat because, you know, the Lakers have been playing 9, 10 deep pretty consistently. The Heat have been playing like 7 guys. And with Bam really being the only big getting any consistent minutes, they're probably going to have to play Olenek a lot more than they're going to want to. I'm not sure if my man Silva is healthy, but like if Bam gets into foul trouble, like that's game changer right there. Because
Yeah.
what do you do with who else is gonna do anything with AD? Like Olenek might beat him up and start a fight, but then y'all still got Dwight, you still got
Right.
Javal
Right.
causing problems. I do think the size is going to be an issue, and like you said, it's going to come down to, because I know Spoelstra is going to have a game plan to kind of limit LeBron's effectiveness. It's going to come down to a couple role players, like you said, hitting a couple shots. And my thing in my head that I see happening is Danny Green deciding to hit some shots.
I didn't even mention Danny Green because he's such a wild card that at this point, if you show up for work, it's like, okay, we're not even checking your attendance anymore. You know, if you decide to show up for work, that's what you did. Right now, I'm thinking about, origami full. I'm thinking about paper planning your contract. I'm thinking about what we're gonna do with your contract. I want you gone. You know what I'm saying? I sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, I want you gone. I've been protecting him for the longest. I can't do it anymore. So if he shows up, great. I prefer other people to. I prefer Frank Vogel to
Okay.
experiment, but it's so deep in the playoffs and the NBA Finals that I don't think he wants to experiment with his rotations. But I would like to see, if Dion's not gonna, I think he's playing with injuries or whatnot. But if JR is not gonna get in, maybe, Horton Tucker, can get some of those minutes.
I'm still
Something
mad that
like
there
that,
was a.
just to
I'm
play
still
with.
mad there was a bidding war over Danny Green.
Yeah, what is he making? 12 mil?
It's more than he should be making. Like, I remember the Mavs, I think, offered him more, if I'm not mistaken.
I feel like that was an evaluation coming off,
Yeah, he
the
rode that
Toronto
wave for
win.
sure.
He did. I think he sold a dream. He definitely took a dub. You know, he was evaluated a little higher than what his what his productivity. You know, you know what I'm saying. So same thing. I think on a higher scale, of what they thought the Clippers was going to get with PG, which you had overhauled to get him, or what obviously we had got him. We had got Danny Green, for lesser conditions, obviously, than Clippers are screwed, bro. But that's not my business. You know what I'm saying? That's the other side of LA. I do not care, brother. So, with Danny Green, he finesse, but I think going forward, it's a veteran's minimum. You're definitely a veteran's minimum player going forward. 5 to 7 mil. What you got, Rondo should be getting. When it's time to renegotiate, he's up for a $12 to $15 million contract easily, in my opinion.
Okay.
Just given off the fact that with Fred VanVleet, it's two different players, but like New York want to offer him 80 mil. You telling me Rondo can't get a 15, 20
How
mil?
old is Rondo?
I want to say
Yeah,
33.
he's got. I knew I was between
Let me see.
32 and 34, somewhere in that range.
I don't want to be wrong on, you know what I'm saying? He is
He is
34.
34. Okay.
He's 34. He's 34. So you telling me he can't get a 15
He
ball?
can probably at least get that Danny Green contract.
At least. He's improved. He's improved his jumper.
Sadly, I think he's like, when I
know?
checked the stats, I think he's number 2 right now in 3-point percentage for the Lakers in the playoffs.
That's crazy. What is he shooting, like, what, 40? I know he's shooting at least, if not
It was
40,
in the
39%
30s the last time I checked, but like everybody else was shooting like straight buns. Like, I think LeBron and
We're
AD were
terrible
like
three-point shooting
28%, something like that. KCP was around 50 almost, or 40. He was in the mid 40s, but everybody else was like mid 20s, including
we're a
Danny
disgusting
Green.
three-point shooting team.
So I'm very, so it's unfathomable to you, just to be clear, that the Heat could take y'all down.
Oh, it's not even the range of possibilities, bro.
Okay.
And no timelines. Listen, if they beat the Lakers, it's not even fathomable to me. But if they did, I am deactivating my account for a very long time. Like, I'm strictly a YouTuber. Like, I'm not. I don't have any socials. I'm just uploading to YouTube, bro. That's all I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? If that were to be the case, I think it's, they don't have too many people that have been there before in
Right.
those moments with that experience. Jimmy Butler is their leader. He's never won a championship. He's never been on, but he's been in certain elements where he's been able to take over in the fourth quarter in certain areas that he's comfortable with.
Don't sleep on
But
Dragic.
against okay, no, he's big moments. That's a fact. He's big moments. He's big. But Rhino's gonna nip a lot of that. I think Rhino's gonna make that very uncomfortable
Okay.
for him. If that's a matchup. I don't know what the
It's gonna
matchups are
be
looking like.
interesting.
You
I'm
know,
definitely very curious to see what Spoelstra pulls out of his bag, because the things that he have done, nobody expected to see already. So for me, I'm at the point where I'm not even
yeah.
trying to think about predicting what's going to happen in this series, because they've proven me wrong at every turn.
I think their best bet, since they have a lot of athletic wings and everything, their best bet is to shrink the floor. I'm not gonna lie to you. We're a terrible 3-point shooting team. Terrible. There we If you shrink the floor and take away our spacing, clog everything to where it makes it hard for LeBron to operate and create such a certain
Right.
flow, you know, uh if you do it, I don't think a necessarily I haven't seen too many teams zone effectively in the
But they have the
playoffs.
personnel.
I'm They do. They do. So if you shrink the floor, if you use your length, and you know, I wouldn't say overplay LeBron because he's way too smart of a
Right.
player. Too smart of a player to be able to make those passes out of a double. Too smart of a player to realize cuts, lobs, what the whole nine. He's the league. He's the league leader, right? In assists, right? He's the league
Right.
leader champion, right? You sit. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't over. I wouldn't over. But who am I to tell Eric Spoelstra how to coach? Who am I? I can't. That's very disrespectful. But that's what I
Okay.
see happening.
All right. Well,
You know.
that's really all I wanted to hit on a major level. I am going to ask you, because we're here, and you did bring it up, and my throat is killing me right now. There's a whole bunch of stuff happening. Um, plug the YouTube real quick.
Oh, for sure. To your lovely subscribers, your followers, and what I'm saying, fans and whatnot. I am Stilo Reacts, so youtube.com/Stilo STILOREACTS, hoop and music reactions and whatnot, and more content to come forward. We're gonna roll out the podcast, bring that back soon. But I'm kind of trying to play the game, get monetized first and whatnot. I'm trying to get my ad revenue up. So, that's pretty much what I'm
Okay.
focusing on.
Okay. Is there anything else you need to plug before we wrap it up?
I was a heavily brand ambassador for. I was hoping I was gonna get a deal one day from Yerba Mate, but I found recently that they cause cancer. So that's what I would plug if um if I were to plug something. But if you guys, any of your listeners, do not pick up Yerba Mate, it is known to cause cancer. So do not make the same mistake that Mr. Stilo has
Oh,
made, and that's about it. You
that's
feel
like the
me?
worst. That's like the biggest anti plug I've ever heard. Um,
Hey man, listen, if they lose money, it is what it is. You feel me? You put my life in jeopardy, you put my career at risk. So it
no,
is what it is.
I hear you. No, definitely. Thank you. I appreciate you coming on. I think we hit a lot of good topics, and it's gonna be interesting to listen to this later and come back to it, depending on what happens in this series. Uh, but thank you again for coming on.
Definitely. For sure. I
No
appreciate you for
problem.
having me, man.